Welcome, Neogenians. How are you? And nice to see all of you there. Um, Philip and I are doing a very quick overview of Metarationalism, which I know you've all been waiting very excitedly to get. Probably a lot of you already have the book, which is in the link is in the bio, by the way. It's the second book in the series, the Neogenian series. The first one, Neogenesis, has been out for a little while already. And in this live stream, we're basically going to do a more comprehensive overview, but it's still a basic overview. If you haven't,
A really big topic to cover.
it's a huge topic, and I mean, I have my book here. It's much bigger than Neogenesis. You've probably already seen, I hope you have, it's about a 3-minute long video on the new the Neogenian YouTube channel. And
I really like those videos because they're
I do
short
too.
and concise and there's so much info in each one.
I like them too, and we like them so much that we're probably going to start making videos in that style just to get content out about metarationalism, because this one specifically is a major it's probably the most difficult of all of the books. Hi, Morg. We're going to hop in and say hi to everybody in just a
Yeah.
second. But yeah, we are very much looking forward to this topic too. But this is the one that I keep telling people just to keep breathing. We're going to get through it. We're going to do it together. There's going to be a lot of help. Not only is the Neogenian channel, which if you have not subscribed, can you grab the link, Philip, for that channel?
Yeah.
And anybody who has not subscribed to that, you probably already have, but if you haven't, go subscribe. Morg is putting up really good videos there, and we are going to also, we love that format, and we're going to start doing that too, where there's lots of graphics and smaller bites of information. And also, I think I'm heavily considering doing an entire series of the whole book.
So that's the link to that channel if anybody wants to go over and subscribe
Thank
to
you.
Neogenian.
Philip posted that link. Please go do that, because those videos are really good. And
And also, hello to Jan and Elise. Those are our awesome mods for our channel. Maybe Mark, who is another one, will come in a little bit later. And also, thank you to Morg for the super chat. That's really nice. Anybody who does that, you don't have to, but thank you. That's really kind of you. And thank you for just being here with us.
yeah, so why don't we just say hi to everybody? I'm so glad to see you, Jan. I know that you had a very busy night, and also you were having allergies today, so appreciate it. Please relax, and but glad that you're here. Elise, thank you so much. Hi to everybody else. Thank you again, Morg. Hi, Christopher and Cassidy, I saw, and Zeus and Jackie, and hi, Charlotte. There's Joanna and Spectral. There's Brent. Hi, Angela. Ren. Hi, Ren. Spectral, did I say? Lots of people in here. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Laura. And Outlier, Eric. Hi, Eric. Did we miss anybody? Hello to anybody.
So.
Hello to anybody coming in. We have a lot we want to talk about. So we will be taking. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. We have, I think, is that all our mods? We have all our mods here.
That's everybody.
So what we're doing tonight is we're not talking about the whole book and just going over little bits. We're starting in the beginning and going to just go into a little bit more depth on some more overview concepts. So the first thing is a general definition of metarationalism, and you can tell by the name of the book, it is the new science of mind. So if you think about, it's a fundamental component of the Neogenian system, it's a rational pursuit of knowledge. If you think of that, that's going to help you. If you keep that in your mind, it's going to help you with sort of pinpointing what it is overall.
And I think I'm with you. I think this was the book that I was most excited for because there's so many deep concepts in there, and they're so well explained. I haven't finished reading the
It's
book, but it's
fantastic.
excellent.
Yeah, it
Yes.
really is. And it's, you know, I don't find it that difficult to read. Morg wrote it so that it's very readable. It's not so complex or over your head. Yes, there are things in there that are going to be difficult that we will help you through, but it's not as scary, I think, as some people may have thought. Hi, Nanu. Um, so so that's a general definition. It's a very comprehensive system in the at the heart of the whole Neogenian system. It's a very, very fundamental, important component. But before we can really get to meta-rationalism itself, I'm sure, I'm sure there's people wondering, well, what's the difference between rationalism and meta-rationalism? So let us stop and do that first.
Yeah.
And
you have some cool graphics, don't you?
I made some, just they're just word lists to help us, to help you out. And I smiled because Morg said, "I'm glad you're enjoying meta-rationalism. I think everybody's loving it." So I'm going to put up the first graphic in a second. I have my sheets messed up. Hang on. I had to actually make a flow chart so I would know when I'm putting up graphics. So the first one is, and I have lost it. I have lost my graphics 1 page. I don't know where that one went. I am so sorry. Oh, here it is.
Go ahead.
Here it is. Nope,
Oh, found it.
Found it. So actually, the first one is, because we are looking at meta-rationalism looks at metaphysics rationally. We thought, why don't we go over what is metaphysics, and rationalism is going to come next. So let me get the graphic. I hope I did this again correctly, where if I hit this will show. Yes, good. Okay, so now let's talk about what metaphysics is, because this is the thing that meta-rationalism is actually addressing. Metaphysics is there's so many metas, the branch of philosophy that studies what reality is. It's the, like the foundational components of reality, things like existence and time and causation. And some metaphysical questions are like, what is time, and what is the relationship between matter and mind? What is the nature of ultimate reality? So when you ask questions like, what am I, and do I have a soul? Those are metaphysical questions.
Yeah. I feel like I have a deep nostalgia with the word metaphysics. I feel like it's been around through a lot of my life, because I've been very candid on this channel. When I was young, I was Christian, and I left Christianity and spent a little bit of time studying Satanism. And then from there, I kind of encountered things in the metaphysics world. So it's kind of funny, because if you study Satanism, a lot of times you'll find the Satanic Bible in the metaphysics section at Barnes and Noble. And then if you go to metaphysics bookstores and stuff, you often see the Satanic Bible there. So they were kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
And so I feel like metaphysics has been a part of my life, pretty much all of my life, because even when I was a Christian and I understood that I was a soul, or I was an eternal soul, that to me was energy. I even understood it as energy then. And so in the world of metaphysics, you hear things are energy, crystals have energy, all of that stuff. So I feel like it was kind of a bridge to where I am today, because I spent a little bit of time experimenting with psychedelics, which that's not right for everybody, but it was something that happened for me in my journey. And a lot of times when you're around those people, they talk about the fabric of existence and the energy of the universe. And so it kind of led me to trying to understand what is energy. And it wasn't until I discovered the mathematical side of it that's what brought me to where I am today. Sorry, you guys are going to have to forgive me. I have a scratchy throat today.
Yeah, I may have to put the quokka on Philip today. And I will if it gets bad, but it's good you've got your water. I know that just the idea of metaphysics can be a little bit confusing, because often we hear the word and we have like preconceived ideas of what it is. But what we're talking about here is what we just said, like these questions about existence. Those are metaphysical concepts. But something I wanted to stick in here, I told Philip the other day that I found interesting about it, about the word metaphysics. And I didn't discover this until I was taking a course on a critique of pure reason. And the professor mentioned this just sort of offhandedly. And he said the name metaphysics, people think of it as sort of above and beyond, or better than, higher than physics. And that's not where it's from at all. He said that it was termed metaphysics means after physics, and it referred to where the books on that subject, that material, was placed in Aristotle's philosophy. And so there was a lot of books, but there was books on physics. And this material, they just put it was not Aristotle himself, it was an editor, later, who just took that material and stuffed it after the physics. That's where it got the name from. So I thought, I wonder how many people had thought like I did. It might have been very common to think of it, metaphysics things, as being something that's higher than or better than or whatever. And it really isn't.
Thank you, Elise, for gifting a membership.
Thank you. And Spectral got it, which is really nice. So just keep in mind that the word metaphysics it's just has to do with where they placed it. And Aristotle's physics books were about things that changed, and the metaphysics was about things that didn't change. Now, the definition of metaphysics has actually changed throughout history, and you'll find this written if you just look in any dictionary of philosophy, or even like Wikipedia will tell you this. That
Don't you think that's fascinating, though, that people in ancient Greek times and even beyond that were thinking about this stuff, about what is beyond space and time?
Yeah.
They had those deep thoughts when at that time a lot of people were just struggling to survive, but there was these great thinkers pondering the true nature of existence.
I think it's such a fundamental question. How are we here, and what is this? Wanting to understand the way nature operates, physics, material things, is very important too. But the fundamental questions of our existence, I would think, would be, people have to wonder about it. It surprises me when people don't think about metaphysical things.
And they probably also struggled to share their ideas at a time where they were in a paradigm where a lot of people didn't understand their way of thinking. They probably got a lot of criticisms.
Yeah, well, I think it depended on what kind of life you led. Would have, if you're just trying to survive and you're not somebody who can be educated, you might think these things, but you probably don't have a lot of time to do anything about it. It's very fortunate.
And that's what's fascinating to me, that we still have these books and writings from people that long ago, and we can see how the thought process has evolved over time to where we are now.
Yeah. Well, I think, as Morg mentions, and I wish I had more time to study the pre-Socratics, but I love looking at how all the different ways that what they attributed to what was the foundation of existence, what was the arche. I think that's, even though some of the answers were kind of simplistic, they're still thinking about what is it. So
before it gets too far back in the chat, thank you, Ren, for also gifting a membership. That's very nice of you. And I see Brent Richards got it.
Nice. Oh, hi, Brent. Hi, MC. Oh, and I saw Andy's in here too. Oh, nice. Welcome, everybody. Okay, I needed to have numbered my sheets because this is making me absolutely crazy. I have flipped everything around so much that I don't even know what page
That's
I'm.
one thing that I love about Susan is we're so alike in that we love to be organized and have everything set a
Well,
perfect way.
the difference between us is that Philip can have it on the screen, have our, because we do a comprehensive outline. I mean, it's, I write up a lot of stuff and then I get all the graphics. I spend time on this. But the thing is that my eyesight is really bad. If you didn't know, I don't talk about it that much. I'm getting eye surgery, but I need to print out our outline huge and then have it in front of me so I can actually read it. So it's very
Yeah.
important for me to have it in front of me because otherwise, oh, I should have turned my light off. I didn't even bother. It's annoying to have that there. Anyway,
Yeah, we
okay.
just want to make sure that we don't forget anything for you guys because
Oh,
this topic is so exciting and
yeah.
broad and there's so much depth to it that of course we can't cover it all in one live stream.
Yeah.
But the exciting thing is that we have so many concepts to go into in future live streams and videos.
Yeah, and also I don't want to miss any of the points. I can't memorize everything that we want to cover. That's why we have the outline. So anyway, we are at, I have showed you my first graphic of metaphysics. We went through that. We went through Aristotle's books. And then also it's important to know that it's not when you think metaphysics, don't think of like the metaphysics store and
Yeah.
crystals
Like
and
I know I was talking about that with my nostalgia with the word metaphysics,
yeah,
but what I was trying to make the importance of was I I never have been into crystals and like raising your vibrations and stuff, but you hear a lot of people say that that stuff is energy, and I
yeah,
thought that that was fascinating, but it didn't work for me, and I wanted a deeper understanding of what is the energy.
yeah,
And so it wasn't until I discovered the mathematical side of things that reason is what reality is, that that's what put the lens on it for me, that I had reached a
yeah,
better understanding.
yeah. And I mean, basically what you're looking is for the reason behind all of the
Yeah.
experiences you were having. And as we spoke the other night, when we were talking, I didn't have all of those experiences. I always wanted to know, what is this? What
Yeah,
I I couldn't
how
really.
was that you said that I came from phenomenological
Yeah,
experience
you did.
to
You came from a lot of experiences. You had your psychedelic experiences. You had your experiences with the church. I didn't have any of that. I just have always had this inner desire to find the answers to existence. And I often did it through books. I know one of the books I read when I was younger, a long time ago, it was one of Paul Davies' books. And there was a few little clues in there. I would have to go back and read it again. But one of the things that I remember from that was like knowing, I came away knowing math is very, very important to
yeah.
existence. I didn't know exactly how, and I also knew that light was very important. And I sort of kept searching, and I went through. We've talked about this before, and I don't want to take away from this subject, but I went through the whole "there's many paths to the top of the mountain" thing. I went through all sorts of different kinds of um, paths to knowledge, but it wasn't until I found this, when I found that this is the one that's rational. This is the one that's actually has an explanation behind it and not something vague. Some of the vague stuff sounds good. The live, laugh,
Yeah.
love. Love is the
And see,
love.
I was going to give a little note. Even though I mentioned that I have experience with psychedelics, I always make sure to mention that my journey is not the necessary journey, and psychedelics will not give you the answer. And so, when I mentioned before, when I was experimenting with that, a lot of the people in those circles, they will talk about the metaphysics of the universe and the energy of the universe, but a lot of times you can get misled. Like they might say that the energy of the universe is love, or And that's what we've spoken about before with your intuition and your emotions can lead you astray. You can
Yeah,
get these highly intuitive feelings from those experiences, but that's not the
yeah.
reasoning. Like it doesn't have the mathematical foundation, and so it's kind of one of those
the
vagaries.
the thing with me was that people would say, "Oh, sacred geometry, that's the way to go." So
Yeah,
you look into sacred geometry with excitement, thinking this is going to explain it, and it's nice and it's pretty, and there's intuitive knowledge there, like in something that you're like, yeah, there's something to this, but there's not that explanation of what it means and tying it to something that causes other things to happen. I there That was missing for me. But this meta-rationalism has that. Trust me, if you when you get through the book, it takes you from the foundation of everything is based on reason, which is what you get to at the end of Neogenesis, and it takes you from that, using reason applied to that foundation of reason, and it takes you to explaining everything.
yeah. That's the part
It's
that I love
it's
is
incredible.
it can show you that we can know metaphysics and all of these questions and all of those different things that we're questioning. You can know those rationally, and that's
Yeah,
what meta rationalism is.
that's what it is.
So, do we
Yeah.
want to move on a little bit?
Okay,
Because
so yeah. So we end up with meta-rationalism is the position that we can know metaphysics, these questions and concepts that we've been talking about, rationally. And with that in mind, now let's look at rationalism and meta-rationalism. And I am
and there's
going.
a good segment in the book that covers this that shows the difference between the two, and we kind of want to highlight some of those differences.
Yes. So what is rationalism? It's the view that knowledge is derived from reason. That you're going to get knowledge and truth from reason and logic, not faith, not the senses or observation, any of that. It's often contrasted with empiricism, which is what I'm about to put up, because I took I don't know if I made this one. Two of the things I'm showing tonight are taken right from the book. They were so good, little tables, that I just recreated them. And I don't know if I think this is one of them. So let me put this one up. This is rational. This is empiricism, rationalism.
Yeah.
There it is. I have them out of order, naturally. So here's empiricism on the left and rationalism on the right. And we can just go through this really quickly. With empiricism, knowledge is derived from experience and sensory data. And we use experiments to get the data. And experimentation is an inductive method that can never produce certain knowledge, only probability. And I'm going to just hide it again for 1 second so we're not hidden. To say that there are concepts in here, inductive and deductive reasoning, for example, that we're not covering tonight. We're going to make some already. I know we're going to recreate some videos that we have done before, but in a clear, sort of smaller bites.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to stop and cover all of those things, because that would just take too long. So let's go back and look at what rationalism is now. Okay. I like being able to show graphics. It's nice. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice to
Um,
have a visual with what
yeah.
we're saying.
So rationalism is not where I just said this. Knowledge is derived from reason and logic. It's not from faith or the senses. Mathematics, reason, and logic are used to obtain universal knowledge, and knowledge is certain because it is deductive, necessary, and rational, not empirical. Now, don't worry again about what is necessary, what is contingent, what is deductive, or whatever. We'll be going over those in the future. Remember that this is just a general overview. Thank
Yeah.
you. Morg said the
And
graphics
we're
are
also not
nice.
saying that a lot of the tools included are empiricism are bad. We're just making the emphasis that we're not focusing on the senses and sensory
What?
experience.
Yeah. All we're doing is telling you the difference between the two, and that um, we definitely prioritize reason.
Yeah.
We'll get into empiricism and what we think about that. Oh, I'm sorry you're getting lag. Is anybody else getting lag? So far, let me look at the health of the stream. And no, I think it's looking good.
A couple people say no, so that's good.
Says it's
No lag.
excellent. So okay, good. Hopefully, no. Okay, hopefully it's okay. All right. Now God, I do push any buttons, and I end up. I should not push the buttons. Cassidy would tell me, don't push buttons. Okay. So I just want to say one more thing about rationalism and empiricism, because when we say that science is empirical and not a rational, not based on rationalism, that can be confusing. I know it was for me, because a lot of people look at science and say, but they're the rational people. They're using reason. How are they? That's what they do. I mean, the other areas of life, people are crazy and emotional and everything, but science is rational. But remember the definition of where you're placing priority, how you're obtaining knowledge. There are theories of how you obtain knowledge. And
Do you think that that's oftentimes because people put religion on one side and
yes,
faith on the other? So, or
no,
excuse me, religion on one side and science on
yes,
the other. So
yes.
between the two, they look at science and say, this is the rational one between these two.
I think that's exactly the reason. They're like religion, faith, science, reason. And that can be confusing. So let's say it one more time. Science uses the scientific method. It's an empirical method. It's based on the senses and observation, as opposed to rationalism, which prioritizes reason above everything. So everybody still with us? Hopefully.
Put a Neo star in the chat
Yes,
if you are, and if you're enjoying the stream.
I'm always worried that I'm going to be a little dyslexic and flip the words.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody's getting it. And okay, and then so we can move on, but I wanted to point that out. Now we're working our way down, and we're doing good on time, so we will be able to hop in. You guys have been talking up a storm, and I would like to be able to read your comments and see if there's any questions at the end. So hopefully we'll have time. So with that in mind, let's look at
now we can compare metarationalism to
and
rationalism.
Yes, that's where we're going,
because they sound very similar.
They do. So now with all of that, we've told you what metaphysics is, and we discussed rationalism versus empiricism. Now, with that in mind, let's look at rationalism and metarationalism.
So now we have these two different areas that we've talked about that focus on reason, but what's the difference between the two?
Okay, so this is the biggie. Now I got to find it because everything's mixed up. Rationalism, metarationalism. Okay, all right. And I hope I don't have spelling errors. I was doing this quickly. And thank you to whoever, by the way, found the spelling error. I fixed it in the title of the live stream.
I think that was Halloween Mom.
Thank you. I don't think I said hi to Halloween Mom. Thank you. And hello to all the new people coming in. Okay. So now you'll notice, even though I just had rationalism up on the screen compared to empiricism, this is not the same thing that was there. This only tells you that rationalism is a theory of knowledge that emphasizes reason as the primary source of knowledge, because now we're not really looking at the components of it. We're just looking at the overall, what it is. It's a theory of knowledge. And we're comparing that to metarationalism.
And on its face, rationalism sounds like a great thing. I mean, it definitely is a huge jump forward from systems of faith and systems like empiricism that just focus on the senses and observation. So we're not saying that rationalism is a bad thing, because it definitely has its perks. However, meta-rationalism focuses on more, and
Yes.
it encompasses more.
I took it off and let me put it back on again. So now we're going to look on the right side, and you can see it's a comprehensive system that includes rationalism, but it's so much more than just a theory of knowledge. Okay, this is going to give you the really good comparison of these two things. So once more, rationalism is just a theory of knowledge. It's a good one. It's important. We use it. But look over here on the right side where it says meta-rationalism. We use rationalism, but look at what else it includes. We go beyond theories of knowledge to include an integration of intuition. Look here, empirical methods, altered states of consciousness, and phenomenological experiences, but all the time maintaining the primacy of reason.
Yeah. So when we talk about empirical methods, we should probably expand on that a little bit. So we're not saying that empirical methods like, experimentation and things like that are a bad thing. We have to give credence to those for different progressions that science has made. But what we're saying is that that is not a system of truth, meaning empiricism. So those tools can still be helpful to us, but we still have to focus on reason and underpin everything with the lens of reason.
That's how we view anything. We can, and I can already tell we're going to have a lot more time, which is good because I was really worried. I didn't have an idea of how long it was going to take to go through the stuff we want to go through. So we can talk about we can stop and talk about some other things. And I really like how much more meta-rationalism incorporates than simply the knowledge of theory of the theory of knowledge of rationalism. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because people are asking questions and I want to get to some of them. So we could either do that or we can continue on, because the last thing I wanted to talk about was where are we going with all of
which
this?
Is a really great point. Let's go ahead and do that, and then when we wrap up we can answer questions.
Okay.
We have some things to talk about at the end.
Okay, so where is this is something I thought was important. Where are we going? Where's meta-rationalism leading us? It is a new paradigm. If you haven't kind of intuited that, you will probably understand as we continue to talk that this comprehensive system is a complete change. Now, it takes us right back to the beginning when we talked about the cover of the book, which says the new science of mind. And
speaking of that, we didn't get to that. We did have a question. So in our last Nexus Academy session last Sunday, we had a great question that involves meta-rationalism. And we thought that it was such a great question that it stuck with us, and we were going to include it today. We kind of skipped over it
because I lost the sheet. I lost the paper it was on.
That's all right. We can get to it now. And we talked a little bit about the substance of this question, so it may seem a little redundant, but it's a good question. So let's get to that.
And it was
somebody
Bridget.
asked.
It was Bridget. I don't know if she's here tonight, but it was a good question. She asked if you were in the Nexus Academy.
And so the question is about how we define meta-rationalism as a science. I think she asked a couple questions like, how do we define science, and how do we differ meta-rationalism as a new science from what we currently know as science? And she was just very interested in that science specification, and it was a really good question.
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of confused her possibly, and maybe some of you are also wondering the same thing, which is that if science uses empirical methods and we don't put primacy on that, we put primacy on reason, why are we calling meta-rationalism a science? I think that was the real question, and it's a good question, and the answer is fairly straightforward. When you think of the paradigm of scientific materialism, which is based on reality being matter, and discovering how everything works. Your method to do that is using the senses, experiments, observation. That's a paradigm. And metarationalism is the new paradigm. That's where we're going with this. It's an comprehensive system that is going to replace scientific materialism. So what Moore did was just to say this is the new science. So it just because the word science doesn't mean that it's solely the way people view science now. It's what we have already just said in the comparison between rationalism and metarationalism. It's so much more than that. But you'll notice
it's not just the label of science slapped on the end there. It's
right.
a whole new structured system.
Yeah, but it's what, when you think of what science is now, it's going to cover those things, but it's through a completely different lens, because we know that reality is not based on matter, it's mind. So the word, it's not a problem to use the word science. I actually really love that. But it's the new science. It's not what we've been familiar with. So did that answer that question completely? Or
I think so. Yeah, that was a really good explanation.
And remember that from the definition that we just went over, it includes empirical methods. And maybe that's what we can talk about for a little bit toward the end, that we aren't giving up anything that has worked for us humans in evolution. It's not as though we're like, oh wow, we're not gonna use any of those methods because they're bad and we only do things this way. That's not at all what we're saying.
We've had so many advancements and technological advancements and medicine and just so many different things that come from scientific methods. And we're not saying that any of those aren't great. They're absolutely wonderful, and they've led us to the advancements that we have today. It's just that under meta-rationalism, we are structured different. Whereas with empirical science, they've struggled to find the answers of existence for decades, for as long as they've been around, and they cannot do it because they cannot break free from the paradigm of matter. Whereas with meta-rationalism, we can break free from that because we are in the paradigm of mind, and we can explain those questions of existence rationally.
Exactly. So when you think of it, we don't throw away anything that has helped. And I've said this before, that classical mechanics took us to the moon. My husband, who's a physicist, is huge Newtonian fan. Loves classical mechanics. Classical mechanics is great. We use it. Lots of great things happen, but you're not going to explain the nature of reality using it. So you have to understand, and I think this is where some people can get very confused with our system. And I think talking about it often might help to finally get people to sort of filter it properly and put it in the right place. Use these tools for what they are good for. But remember that if you're going to use tools, I'm going to use Morg uses a video game analogy. I like the little snow globe. Doesn't really matter. If you're in a video game, you use the tools that exist within the video game to navigate through that world, and that's great. You're going to have a lot of success. But
I think all of these discussions are bringing us back to that initial question that we had of where is meta-rationalism leading us. And so once you have this understanding, that is a profound realization, but you can't just take that on its face and like put the book back on the bookshelf and forget about it, so to speak. Because once you have those realizations, it's life-changing. Well, and so go ahead.
I was just going to say that's when you learn that in order to understand the metaphysical questions. You can't use the tools that only explain the physical world. You need the tools that allow you to find out what's running the game. How is the, what's the code of the game, not within the video game. So,
And when we're talking about this knowledge, this new understanding, it's profound because if we are able to apply that to our lives and to our interactions with others, and that will lead us to creating a new world. So we put so much emphasis on how important this information is and what we can do with it and how it changes our understanding of reality. Because if we get enough minds to understand this, it will change reality. And
yeah.
so we love talking about this stuff. I know Susan and I do because it's so incredibly interesting, but it's also vastly important for a new paradigm of mind.
I'm going to put up the graphic on the paradigm shift because this one is also good. So what this is also from the book. I think this is the second one that I took from the book directly. And this shows you the difference between scientific materialism, the current paradigm, and metarationalism. So again, don't worry about these terms. We're going to actually do short videos or a live stream or something to walk through all of these. I just didn't have time. We did empiricism and rationalism. And then most of you are probably have heard, scientific materialism is materialist, whereas we are idealist. That fundamentally everything is mind, as opposed to materialists who say that everything is matter. And again, the importance of understanding that you cannot, materialists cannot create, explain or account for mind with a base of matter, whereas we know that you can get matter from mind. And again, Morg has talked about that a lot, but we will also be making videos on that as well. Then there's the inductive versus deductive. Again, we'll do that more a posteriori and a priori, and contingent and necessary. But you can see the difference in these paradigms, and we are shifting away from scientific materialism and toward metarationalism. So it's an entirely new paradigm. Okay, let me take this off so we can see Philip again.
Thank you to Christopher Smith for the super chat. It says, great topic tonight. I can't find how to become a member. I don't see where to do that. Depending on whether you're on PC or mobile, if you're on your phone, you should close out the live chat. And usually it's next to the subscribe button. I think it should say join.
Yeah.
And I think our cheapest tier is like
$2 a month,
something like that. Yeah, $2. So it's nice that you want to become a member. We appreciate that so much.
Thank you. We would love it. Thank you, Christopher, and thank you for your
also. I'm not sure where it's at if you're on a PC. If you click on our icon, the eye, it should take you to our YouTube homepage, and there should be a join button somewhere there. So
yeah.
Again, thank you so much for the super chat. And also, just a little bit back, I saw Becca said that she received the new book today, which is so exciting.
Excellent.
You're going to want to jump right in there and get to reading on that, because I know I did. I just had to start. As soon as it hit my Kindle the day of, I started reading it because it's so exciting. And also other people like Laura and a few others were saying that they love taking notes. That's and Serafina said that. That's great. It's great to take notes because there's so many different areas in meta-rationalism and the entire Neogenian system that it's great to be able to go through that on your own and be able to process all of these different terms and concepts. I know that works for me. I love doing that because it's great to have it laid out and you know how you are laying out your thought process, and you can go back and look at your notes and see how your understanding has changed as you've taken in all of that material. So that's a really great thing to do. So
I'm already underlining stuff in my soft cover. Don't listen if you're somebody who doesn't like. I'm not touching my hardcover. Don't worry. The soft cover, though, I am actually. Oh, good. And Angela's downloading it at midnight. You downloaded it at midnight. I think you already got your hardcover. I think you said. Anyway, okay, where were we in terms of paradigm shift? And
Well, you
Uh,
had just shown that graphic, which is a great
yes,
one.
yes. I'm sorry. I was looking at comments. Angela said, "Oh, Susan." What did I do? What did I say? Did I screw something up? Um, I hope not. Also, I wanted to read something that, oh, okay, yeah, you did. You did get your book. I wanted to read something that Becca said that I thought was interesting. We're not discarding tools that are useful in the holos, but are simply reaching a deeper understanding of more like the fundamentals of all existence, which require not just those tools. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, it's very simple. We are trying to understand the we're trying to go after the metaphysical questions, and you can't do that with the materialist paradigm.
I think Angela was saying that you underline in your books, "Oh, Susan,
Oh,
don't do that."
I'm bad. I'm so bad.
I don't care about highlighting. It's just when people dog ear the tags that fold the tag or the
I
pages
don't
down.
fold the corners. I did
That's
not
what
use a
bothers me.
highlighter pen. I used a pencil and underlined a few things. I may get the
Well, that's
highlighter.
forgivable
I
because
may get the
pencil can be
highlighter out at
eerie.
some point. I'm not sure. You know what? You know what? Yeah. See, Morg said, "Well said, Becca." I like that too. Um, you know, uh, whatever it takes for in the discussions that we have, and please let us know what areas you want to talk about more, because it's
Yeah.
hard for us to know exactly where people can have issues, but what we're trying to do is understand the paradigm shift, the necessity for the paradigm shift, going from what's there and what's not working, understanding what it's good for, but where it lacks the ability to explain reality. And that's ultimately what we're after, right? That's what this book is going to do. It's going to take us through how is all of this possible? Why is this? How is this? And it's brilliant. It is absolutely so brilliantly done.
Okay, so or Christopher, excuse me, I see you said I can't find it. If you go to our YouTube homepage, there's tabs like videos, live streams, community board. There should be a tab that says membership, and then you can look at the perks and the different levels and stuff, and you should be able to join there. So I hope that helps. Also, speaking of books and study groups and notes and things like that, I just wanted to remind everybody that every Sunday we do sessions in Discord called the Nexus Academy, where we're going through the books. It's Susan and I, and Mark are all the presenters, and that is every week. And we're doing another one tomorrow. And
Yep.
so that is at 7 p.m. Eastern
Eastern
Time.
time.
And so,
Yeah.
if you guys are, I know a lot of you guys that are in here have been there, and thank you for joining us every week. We will be going through each one of these books bit by bit, and we can communicate with each other and share ideas and questions. And you guys have an opportunity to get up on stage with us and show your face or not show your face, depending on what
Yeah.
you're comfortable with. But it's nice to have that interaction and that community with you guys.
Um, I saw somebody ask a question about um, what it is that we are doing in terms of understanding reality, and I wanted to get to that. And where is that? Okay, wait a minute. I think it was may have been MC. So what we think together about why we are here is what we focus on, or one of the areas that we should focus on, or okay, I'm not sure what you're asking. I, I was saying if you guys have questions and areas that you want more elaborated on, let us know and we'll work on that more. We're going to be sort of focusing on terminology, um, explanations and there's a lot of terms, and I know it can get really boggy. Don't worry about that. It took me such a long time to get everything straight. It can be difficult, but it's totally doable. Just keep repeating things. We'll get through it. Um, and and let us know what areas you want us to talk about more. I got on a table and computer. Oh, nice, Seraphine. It'd be nice if you can be there. Um, Joanna
Hopefully
will
you
be
didn't lose
there.
me. Did I freeze?
No, I think you're
Oh,
good.
okay.
So, but I thought I also saw another question. Um, oh, Macro said, I'm looking forward to getting the books. They'll be great reads. Yeah, really. Neogenesis is the one we're going through now in the Nexus Academy, and it's excellent. It's the deconstruction process, which is essential to examining the way you think and what your beliefs are, how you got there, and whether they are helpful, whether they are actually helping you to look for truth and get knowledge. And then what to do about that. And it takes you through understanding the, the reasoning behind how you end up with realizing that reason is foundation of everything, that without reason we have a breakdown, it's an impossibility, we can't have it. And once you get to there, that's when this book starts, the Metarationalism, because it's like, as I said in the beginning, that's what takes you through explaining, like starting with nothing. It's so brilliant, starting with nothing but reason, and then explaining all of this. And with that, as you said, comes the understanding of what we're actually doing here. And the other books are going to start building on that. Well, I don't want to say, because
I know. If you guys are excited now, just wait for
just wait.
what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot. And also, thank you for becoming a member. I'm sorry, Christopher, that you're having problems. And I noticed somebody else, I think it was Ren, said you might have to look either on the browser for YouTube, whether you're on the app or the browser.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're having difficulty with that. I hope you get that figured out.
Welcome, Angela. Welcome. Thank you very much for becoming a member. And yeah, Christopher, don't worry. Thank you so much for your super chat. But we're not having a member stream tonight, so you're not missing anything. You have time, and I'm sure you'll figure it out. If you're on a computer, it should be pretty easy. There's a join button. Yeah, Cassidy's really good with this stuff. And Mark is also helping out, so thank you. Okay, let me see. Spectral, what was it that you wondered? And hello, if I didn't say hello. Everybody's helping Chris. That's so nice.
MC Heavy says, I think that I want to preview the Metarationalism book. I'm trying my head around it all. And that's perfectly okay. It's such a big area and there's so many components to it that it's okay to dip your toes in and go to something else and come back. You don't have to go through it in a linear way.
Think about this book as something that, yes, of course you can sit down and read it from cover to cover. You can do that. Mm-hmm. And I know a bunch of people who are doing that, and then maybe do it quickly and then read it more slowly all the way through. But you can also think of it as a textbook and a reference book that you will go back to when you want to look up a particular area, a particular section, and really focus on that. I think the beginning sections are definitely doable. You can work your way through pretty far, without having to be too confused. It's just a lot of terminology and things. Don't let that overwhelm you. Like I said, we're going to make videos on that. We'll walk you through it. We'll help you. And please ask questions.
Becca gave a member milestone chat, and Becca's been a member for 16 months at the waveform level. Thank you so much, Becca.
Thank you.
We appreciate your membership, and said tonight has been really great. Love this topic, and it was so well explained. And thank you, because that's all we can hope for.
Yeah, we were both so concerned about trying to make it as straightforward as possible, which is why we spent time on the outline, and I did the graphics too. But delivering it is something else, and I'm glad that you found it clear enough to understand. Please let me know if either one of us doesn't explain it in a way that you actually get. I
Yeah,
know.
you won't offend us.
No, you won't
We
at
want you
all.
to be able to take this information in with ease.
Yeah. Anybody who knows me well knows that I am like a pit bull when I want to know something and the person hasn't explained it to me. I don't let go. Morg will tell you this. I don't let go. I just keep asking and asking. And sometimes you have to come from different areas. And sometimes it's the tiniest phrase difference that will
And
make it click for you.
Zeus says the graphics really help. Thanks for the extra efforts. That's all Susan. Susan makes those and adds those in or goes and finds the graphics. And so we're glad that that is helpful for you, even though, the ones today are just text, but Susan makes graphics and throws
I,
those up. And we
yeah,
think that that's helpful too.
I will through when we're doing this book, I will definitely make those kinds of just word graphics. Yeah, Morg's like, lol, it's true. That's probably about me, right? Yeah.
Also, thank you to Serafina for gifting a membership. MC Heavyset got that.
Thank
And also,
you.
thank you to Laura Flower Dragon for being a member at the waveform level for 25 months. It says, big love to all and loving appreciation to the Neogenian Oculus for this and all that you do. You are like professors teaching us.
Oh,
Thank you so
wow.
much, Laura. I
Thank
don't think
you.
of myself as a
Me
professor,
neither.
but
Me
it's so
neither.
nice that you guys really care about the live streams and come and spend your time with us.
Um, I I'm really glad. What I really care about is whether you're understanding it, and I want to
Yeah.
hear if you're having problems because, as Morg was laughing at me, it's true. If I don't understand something, I get very crabby, and because I want to know, I want to understand it. I don't just nod my head and say, "Oh, okay." I will. If somebody can't teach me, which happens, I go somewhere else and find the answers. So please let us know if we can do more of that.
And
Um,
I think that's one of the best things about the books because they're written in such a way that it's easy to take in. And if you do have a question, you can point to it and say, I need help with this section, and
yeah.
this is how it reads. Can you help me with my interpretation?
And Morg's writing is very clear. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Very, very helpful. Not at all kind of convoluted and flowery.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
very good.
organized, bullet
Yeah.
points, everything is laid out very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Also, thank you to Joanna for being a member for 31 months at the Wavelet level. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank
We
you so much.
appreciate all of you guys. You don't have to be a
Yeah.
member for us to appreciate you. We're just glad to see you guys in our chat, asking questions and
Yeah.
wanting to know more about
Yeah.
this
And
information.
Angela, I'm sure you and I aren't the only two like that. I'm sure there's a lot of people who I get very frustrated as what is it? Somebody said I get hangry, Elise. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want to spend this time trying to understand something that is extremely, written poorly or very confusing. And I will go to where if I'm studying something, I don't just let go because I know from math, you can't just keep going. You have to get
Yeah.
the answers before you move on, or you're going to be even more confused. So it's really important that take everybody with us as we move forward.
And it
Um,
may sound like we may repeat stuff at times, but that's just because we don't want to gloss over what's important. So, like what Susan was saying, when we make those videos, you may have seen us speak about those things before, but they're important concepts that we don't want to gloss over. We want to make sure that you guys really take that in and have a
yeah,
good
I
understanding of
I'm a
each of those things.
repeater. I repeat
Yeah.
because when I do that, it's also something that a tool I use to get something in, to integrate something. I will repeat it over. Well, when we did the Fourier, you know that, right? I
Yeah.
repeated and repeated and repeated to you guys because that's how you remember the
And we
different.
also did a lot of review because it's important to go back and look at things
Yep.
that you've done in the past
Yeah.
and take it in a new
Yep.
way after you've studied some other things.
Absolutely, repetitive learning is great. And Charlotte says that you enjoy Mork is a good writer. It's I mean sometimes people know material but they cannot teach it. And what I really like about the books is the way they're laid out I mean, this is not something that it is lends itself to a linear explanation. However, the way the books are laid out is the best possible way of doing it. And so I know Morgan's probably sick of hearing us say that, but these kinds of things, but it's very, very true. So if you're worried about whether or not you'll understand the books, and please know that they're made for everybody to be able to be accessible to everybody. I mean,
and it's one thing to understand the concepts and another to be able to vocalize them, because many times when you're trying to explain these things to people who have never heard about anything that you're talking about, and they say, well, what is that, or what's the difference between this and this, and for a second sometimes you have to really think about how you're going to explain it. And that's not because you don't necessarily have a good understanding, but you want to be clear and concise in your explanations. And I know I've had that problem before. Like, somebody will ask me something, and I like to think things through before I really kind of say them. And so whenever you're reading through this stuff, it may take some time to ingrain it into you, like Susan's talking about.
Oh, and Elise says, yes, but you also learn through the process the same topic or info can intuitively hit or add another level of understanding that you didn't come away with the previous time. And that's exactly one of my points. That's exactly one of my points. And Morg says, it's nice of you. It is very accessible, Morg. I'm, good for you. Bravo. Because this is not, this was a huge, huge undertaking, just this one book. So, yes, it does, Andy. It contains the arguments you need. The religious claims. That's for another day, because we're already over time. But I'm really glad we had this extra time. I was worried that we would be going up to the last minute on the content, and I was a little bit stressed about that. So this was nice that we were able to have these extra discussions, because almost always I go.
Oh, Christopher, you got it.
You
Welcome to
go.
Wavelet.
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice.
I'm glad you found it. And thank you for becoming a member.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
Yes. Well, on that note, Quokka, no, and Cassidy, I saw your question. We have a new Quokka, by the way, from Cassidy. I just haven't had time to do it. So you're getting my regular Quokka. Regular Quokka.
Here, I'll give you guys the Quokka emoji in the chat.
There we go.
Quokka, Quokka.
Quokka, I say Quokka.
Oculus, the Quoculus.
I'm glad, Charlotte, I'm glad you could come. Thank you. And okay, there we go. Yes, Oculus the Quoculus. And was that Becca? Was that Becca who named it? Becca and Mark, I think, are the two who named it. My memories. Oh, one more thing, you guys. I was fighting with our store. Not that I'm saying please go buy stuff. Just it's fun to actually see the products there. I fought with our store so much. And there's finally some and the Quokka shirt is one of them that's there. So did I win against the store? I won some things. Other things are screwed up.
Susan's been fighting with that store for a long time.
Oh God, spring is. Ugh. So anyway, yeah, I kind of won. And where you can see it after all that, we mostly do live streams. We're going back to doing videos. But after all that, they don't even put your store on live streams. But go and just make me happy. Click on our latest, the last video we did, which was ages ago. But click on that, and you'll see the little store things. On live streams, I just put the boring link to merch in there. But if you do click it, you'll get to go and see the shop with everything. And
there should be a tab up next to like membership, or
I don't know.
On the actual channel.
I don't know.
You'll find it.
I just want people to tell me that it looks nice. Thank you.
We don't even care if you buy anything. Just hope it looks nice.
Just I want the Angela, I want the glass. I want the pint glass. I love that clear glass, because when I'm doing a live stream, I have this, but it makes noise when you drink from it. I really like it, my Air Up, but no sponsor, by the way, just I like it. But I use a mug for my like soda, but I would like one of those tall glasses with it. And I'm also, this is my Neostar. I use it as my anchor, my Innistar anchor, but I also want to get the dog tag with the eye, because the eye Carrie designed,
Yeah, that's a special logo
and I
to
love
us.
it. Yeah, I love our logo. I love our eye. So anyway, you guys,
To end it, we'll put some eyes in this chat. How about that?
yes. Oh, am I allowed to do? Yes, I can chat
So
over
anyway,
here.
just before we go, remember you can see us at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow in Discord for the next Nexus Academy session, where we will continue reading through Neogenesis.
Yes, hope to see you
And
guys
hopefully,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for coming today. Thank you for putting your great questions in, and all the super chats and gifted memberships and all of your milestone chats, and just for being here. Thank you for liking the video and being a great community.
Yeah, we don't care. I mean, it's very, very nice for everybody who does all that support, but honestly, it's so nice that people come and hang out. We really like it. Thank you so much. Good night to you all. Hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks to our mods. You guys are great. And have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Bye.